Fam.
Sports Day is brought to you by Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
But to next weekend or trying to get into the playoffs, you got to win the game in front of you, and that's what these guys have focused on all year. It's not happening right now.
Mahomes in the pocket, throws it left, caught Juju Smith-Schuster, angling left, fire, diving, touchdown! Kansas City, welcome back to the Chiefs' kingdom in the end zone. Juju Smith-Schuster.
We need to do a better job offensively on that last drive and not put the defense in that position. So, but we stepped up on the defensive side and did a nice job holding them out of there.
You put so much effort, time, energy, and, those are what those moments are about.
I mean, obviously getting turnovers. I mean, when you can play the option beautifully, the kid makes a bad pitch and we jump on it, that's huge. And obviously Jake's interception, but time in and time out, we kind of put our defense in some tough spots, and they just kept responding.
That's what they're known for. They're a good, usually defensive pass team. They play a lot of cover 0, cover 1, and that's just what they play. They don't really adjust. They think their guys are better, and that didn't work for them tonight.
So obviously falling behind the chains to us right now is drive killer. So we just have zero room for error right now, and we're making a ton of mistakes. So
our outside backers had a pretty good game, especially seeing some younger guys like Zane Lake can get in there, and do some good things. The thing about those kids is they're doing their job.
Once that 2-minute mark hit, we didn't play well in any phase. Didn't play well on defense in the second half. Obviously didn't play well on special teams. Didn't block very well. Didn't do anything well in that second half, and credit BYU.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM, the talk of the town. Welcome in. It is a Monday Sports Day show. Mike Corson, Sean Bear, Mike Hesher, and the man who figured out the problem in the studio. Yeah, network engineer, Landon Winkler. Hesh was just scratching his head, and Landon said, it's not plugged in. And it was amazing.
Lights lit up and everything. It was crazy.
We appreciate you, Landon, for jumping in there and fixing to get the thing back on the road here today. All right.
Say, what's wrong with your lawnmower? I reckon you ain't got any gas in it. Simple thing.
Someone had to discover that sometime. Sean Bears will be on the program. He'll be talking about Great Bend's win over Buhler on Friday night. Great Bend Tribune sports editor Jim Mizuno stopping by, and Mike Corson going on the with his Monday excursion with Great Bend cross-country coach Lyles Lashley. Sports headlines and, of course, the sounds of the past 24 hours or so. You look like you're ready to go, Sean.
You guys just have way too much fun around this place in the morning. I'm going to come hang out with you all.
All right. Say it ain't so. I did not see a 7-game losing streak coming, but that's what we are dealt with right now. Matt Quatrero, all you can do is worry about the next game. They won't have to worry about it today. They don't play. But they close out the season with 6 games on the road after they dropped their game yesterday to the Giants. What, they score 1 run over the weekend?
1 run in 3 games against the Giants.
Woo! Okay, but somehow they're still in the playoffs. But they start that series against Washington tomorrow. It'll be an early start. So the 5 o'clock news hour tomorrow becomes the 4 o'clock news hour with Royals baseball coming to you at 5 o'clock. Okay, here we go. 1 week left to go in the regular season.
So can I switch my prediction to 79 wins? Aren't they at 82? I'll still take him at 79.
As we sit here right now, the Royals would be in the playoffs. They are tied with the Tigers for the final wild card spot. Lurking right behind them, the Minnesota Twins, who dropped a doubleheader yesterday to the Red Sox, and then the Mariners are 2 games back. Okay, with a week to go. Okay, the Tigers, they are off today. They have 3 against the Tampa Bay Rays. The Tigers are at home the rest of the season. Then they get the juggernaut Chicago White Sox in town this weekend.
So you got to consider they're in.
You never know. The White Sox can just pick it up at any time. The Twins, they are also at home for the final 6 games. They take on the Marlins for 3, and then they close with the Orioles this weekend. Seattle, who knows? They could come, it'd be one of like the Kentucky Derby, that horse is back, and then it just comes from nowhere. They're at Houston. That'll be tough. And then they are at home for their final 3 games against Oakland.
Bottom line, Kansas City starts winning. It controls its own destiny. But the White Sox just tied the Mets, since 1900, 120 losses. Do you think they want 121 to be by themselves? They're going to be coming out playing
They'll
inspired.
have a chip on their shoulder.
They're going to be inspired.
They're
They
going to
will
have a
be.
chip on their shoulder. They're going to be playing harder.
156 games in, they'll be inspired.
So I had the question, do you want the Royals to make the playoffs at this point? And I said yes. I told the person back in the text, yes, I did.
Why wouldn't you?
Well, the way they're playing right now, I mean...
Yeah, you can turn it around and you can...
Well, that's kind of what I tried to explain.
That's what they've done. They've lost
Yeah.
7 games in a row twice this month. And then...
Yeah, playoff baseball is just fun to watch anyway. It would have been great to have it in the K. The fans bring it, but especially the way they're limping in, I'm done with baseball. So once they're done, it's football season. So I'm kind of cheering for the extra 3 games at least.
With the Iuka Hustlers in the World Series for the 13th time in 26 years, I'm not ready to close the book right now.
You know what's weird about baseball is it's up to 2 National League teams whether or not they're going to make it or not.
Yes.
Right?
It is, yeah.
They've messed up the schedule. Everybody, I think, agrees to that, yes.
The Nationals and the Braves?
Yes.
Come on.
So do the Braves feel good about the fact that they are right behind the Mets? They're 2 games out in the for the final wild card spot, and they've got the Royals coming to town. I mean, Sports Day Atlanta right now, they talk, well, we've got the Royals coming.
They'll be licking their chops.
You can say we can pitch the back half of the bullpen because the Royals can't score. We'll just save our arms for the
coldest team in the American League.
But this is pretty cool. I mean, going back, the way the Royals are closing against 2 National League teams, the Mets and Braves play the next 3 games. That's pretty good. The 2 teams battling for that final spot.
But there's the Braves fans in the building have given up on the Braves. They're like Corson. They've stuck a fork in them.
Yeah. The Mets the Braves and the Mets close at the Brewers and the Giants at the Diamondbacks, who are suddenly right on that. I mean, they could fall out too.
Well, see, I just want postseason to get here. Otani's numbers resets. I don't have to hear 53 and 53 anymore. Guy hits like 2 home runs a game now, and they give him a stolen base when he's going between second and third.
Do they really? That's a new one. Jeez.
All right, so we'll move on to football right now, but I wanted to get the baseball in.
Thank goodness. Football.
You want some tickets?
It's football season. Gotta love it.
Tickets for what?
Iuka against the Paradise Punch-Outs, man. A World Series in Iuka coming up this week.
It was sold out.
It will be, but that's...
He's got tickets. He's the owner.
And I'm the owner of the team. All right, the call on B1043, the point last night. Juju Smith-Schuster. Touchdown reception, put KC up 22-14 late in the third quarter. Andy Reid says, well, we need to close it out a little bit better with the offense. 2 fourth-down conversions that the Chiefs' defense stopped late in the game allowed them to hang on and win the contest. Chiefs win. They had it in the bag the whole time.
Wouldn't have thought that the first series when Mahomes gave him that pick in the end zone.
He's had some kind of strange interceptions this year.
Kelsey's rubbing off on him.
It is funny. They're 3-0, and seems to be great parity in the league this year. So you watch him, like, it's not impressive. Mahomes is likely to throw about, 1.5 interceptions a game. Some of them have gotten called back. I think they've taken them all down to the wire almost. Some questionable play calls at the end. It's like, but they're winning, which is what you expect.
Okay, the drive in the first half, it's my favorite Chiefs time when I yell at the TV. Okay, so Steele gets down to the 2, right? But then they put him back. They put Patrick Mahomes in motion and move him outside and direct snap to him. Okay, you think they had a guy one-on-one, their best cover guy? No, it's coming up the middle. And then they put a linebacker, Leo Chanel, in as a lead back in a 3-back set. And, of course, they run it straight up the middle. Chanel blocks off to the left. 4th down, they got to go for a field goal. It's frustrating, but they're 3-0. I'm not going to complain.
Sounds like you are.
Well,
Sometimes I think they get ahead of themselves, and they're known for all this creativity and the dancing flamingo formations where all the guys are turning pirouettes.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
You know, at some point, just slam it between the tackles. Exactly.
But they don't do that very well.
Get on the prowl.
Oh, we found a new prowl over here.
Yeah, my son-in-law's got a Nebraska hat. On the back of it says, "Just run the damn ball."
There's going to be a lot said about running the ball effectively.
All right. You just love the Broncos. I mean, we got Bo Nix cut in here. All his work
There
paid
are
off.
Broncos-
They were impressive yesterday. I thought they 26-7.
I just put that in. I don't like the Broncos. I just know there are Bronco fans out there listening.
Okay, on to the Panthers. You mentioned running game.
Non-existent.
Who needs to run when you just throw the ball all over the field? 43-26, Panthers win. Aaron Beck glad to see that his defense forced a couple big turnovers in that game and held a pretty good running back. Well, just 25 yards in the second half. Ben Klaus, 79 at halftime, 25 in the second half. Oh, and then there's that Ian Premer kid. He had 5 touchdown catches, new school record, 9, 18, 24, 30, 89. Talking with Mike Corson after the game, saying that Bueller never changed things up. All 3 of you men were at the game. I survived a tornado in Lions, so there you go. Tell me about the game on Friday night. Panthers to 3-0.
Sean, go ahead.
Aiden Davidson got his first carry of his career.
Yeah, you have to ask Aaron Beck what that was all about. I forgot in the postgame.
Yeah, I kept thinking you were going to bring that up while we were talking about the run the football.
You should have hit me.
Well, we should have. Yeah, Aiden Davidson. Hey, 1 yard, 1 carry. He's pluses in the books.
We kind of look on 58. I had to look at my score sheet going, who is 58? What's he doing running the ball? But no, he ran the ball.
Speaking of him, it was still a ball game into the maybe the fourth quarter. Absolutely, it was a couple big sacks. Trent Kern and Aiden Davidson, I believe, big drive stoppers, especially Trent Kern's, which I believe set up that final Premer touchdown. But it was just weird. You got, we always say if I'm playing the Golden State Warriors, I probably don't want Steph Curry to beat me, so I'm going to do something. Why would you go one-on-one with the kid who's 6'6" and was one of the top recruits in the country?
That's what they were doing the whole game. The whole game. They were man-to-man on the outside, and they were literally had 7 guys down in the box just saying, "Hey, throw it." It was almost like they were like, "Hey, I wanted to see if Dax Minton can beat me."
And they did. They got to him a few times, and he forced a couple throws. So very few rushing yards net on the night for Great Bend, but it only took him throwing it up in the air. The 186 yards, it was literally, get it out of my hands. Hey, Premer, take off. I think he basically went untouched 86 yards.
Well, that's the one where the kid slipped, right?
I think it was a swim move.
Yeah,
by Premer,
that's right.
He kind of threw him.
I think he was helped.
6'6", 215, right? And I think that's with fully geared on, but still, he made a great swim move. The kid whiffed, went down, and hey, credit Dax Minton, because that's the toughest pass. Is when the guy is running all by himself to not overthrow him, and Dax put it right on the hands.
And Cooper Oma, he had 40 yards in the first game. I think this one was about 36 yards. Didn't quite go for the touchdown, but almost the exact same play. And then he lit up a kid on the defensive side. He kind of depleted him, so he's not the most sizable kid. But I'm telling you, the Panther secondary tough.
Yeah,
I believe that's now 3 straight games. No offensive touchdowns in the second half for the opponent.
Sean Barry, you had a receiver in college. His name was Lance Schwint. He was 6'4". He ran like a deer, just like Ian does. How much confidence you just throw it out there, he'll go get it?
Well, I didn't realize it, and I first met Lance in intramural basketball, and the guy was just dunking right and left. So, yeah, exactly. At the D2 level, you don't see the to 5'10", and you got Lance at 6'4", who can jump out of a gym. All you got to do in those cases is just don't underthrow it, put the ball up high, and let him go high point the thing. We had actually talked about that before the game about they need to be working on just throwing the ball to the corner and letting Premer go up over the top, because in pregame you kind of look to see what they've got for secondary, and they didn't have a lot of size at secondary. So advantage Panthers. Premer creates a matchup nightmare, period, on the outside, especially if you're going man-to-man. Friday night, it became, hey, let's throw the ball to set up the run game when it's typically the other way around. So just great night out there.
You know, you can have him with double cover. You can simplify the playbook, right? I mean, just line him up tight, on a 4th down and 6. Okay, just break down, go to 7, turn around, we'll throw the ball up in the air.
Pretty much, you got a good chance of completing that ball. There's no question about it.
But to Bueller's credit, it didn't work-ish, but they only hit him 5 times. Granted, they all went for touchdowns, about 170 yards. But given what the setup was, it seems like it could have been 8, 9, 10. So they did do something right to limit the touches. It just happens to be that he's a stud and took all 5 of them to the house. The one we didn't mention, Jacob Hall, I think it was about a 60-yard interception return. So I wanted to get his name because
exactly.
Hall's been playing great.
He's been playing unbelievable.
He's been playing great. And, back to Corson's point, the thing is don't go to Premer every single play and all of a sudden force them to change coverage on you. Just go to Premer when you need it. Yeah. Hey,
he's always there.
He's going to be open. He's going to beat somebody deep. Just go when you need it.
Because Omont and Hall have been outstanding receivers too.
Absolutely.
We knew coming in there it was a stacked roster, and they're 3 weeks in. They're proving it.
Okay, so we're 3-0, right? 3-0. Things are going well. You got North coming in. That's not going to be a problem on Friday night. Where are the areas that you think that? What you calling the upset right now, or what?
So I would say, what's the
okay?
Don't overlook anybody, but
okay. So, the goal for this team, the way they're going, deep run to 5A playoffs. You get in there, you never know what can happen. What are some things that this team still needs to work on, Sean?
Well, honestly, they got to get more consistent to being able to run that football. We didn't even. I think Jace have 4 carries?
Something to it. They didn't have any stats at all. The total yardage for the team was 4, wasn't it?
I had him and there was a couple sacks in there, but and I don't count the snaps at the end, but I had him +3 on 20 carries throughout the game.
And one of those was a 25 run by Dak. So when he scrambled, the rest were minus.
Yeah. So
he was sacked or tackled for loss, however you want to define that.
You have an incredible group of kids down there on that offensive line, and you need to kind of let them chisel out what they can chisel out. Sometimes, even if it's not going well, you're accomplishing something because you're leaning on people and you're making a defensive line tired, and that pays dividends late in the game. And when you get against the Liberal, say in a couple of weeks down the road here, they just rushed for 271 yards on Friday night. Their tailback, and I think 4 touchdowns. So at some point in time, you're going to have to lean on somebody, and it time of possession, the whole 9 yards. So. And some of that's play calling, and some of it you just got to go with the flow and whatever the defense is giving you. And Friday night they were in man-to-man coverage. They were definitely giving us. But there again, in man-to-man coverage, we could have hurt them a lot more if we'd have got separation instead of trying to separate vertically. If you take your route, you spawn it vertically, but all of a sudden you break it horizontally, that gives you the separation. And all of a sudden there was nobody probably within 20 yards of the line of scrimmage. They were all deep. So you break that separation, you break it across the field, all of a sudden you got a 3-yard head start on the guy, and Dax Minton's is absolutely accurate enough that he's going to put it on your numbers. You may catch it at 6, and the next time we're talking about you, you're 35 yards down the field. So just those little things, and that's what's great, but it does take the little things to run deep into the playoffs.
Okay. Zach Baird knows his squad making too many mistakes. They fall to Scott City 29-7. We'll talk more about the Cardinals when Cole Reif is in on the show tomorrow. But they're a work in progress right now. Get healthy, see what they and Southwestern Heights is a good place to do it. So they played there on Friday night. Brady Keith trying to find some positives. Man, 70-0. Pratt over Larned on Friday night.
And you got to talk about Owen Schmidt. 5 touchdowns in the second quarter.
How about that night?
That's crazy.
Okay, he scored 5 touchdowns, 2 interception returns. Oh, he had 2 scoop and scores, and then a touchdown reception.
What did he do? Snot bubble somebody, and then he just sees him running at him again and says, "Take it, take it." How else do you get 4 takeaways that go the other way in one quarter? One night's ridiculous.
Intimidation.
That's what I'm saying. Saw him coming. Just take it.
Okay, Ellenwood off to a 3-0 start. Not a lot of point this season. They beat Stanton County 55-0. That's one of the wins Southwestern Heights has. The other one is over Tribune, not Tribune, but
Greeley County.
Syracuse.
Oh, Syracuse.
Syracuse. Sterling Black Bears, the opponent on Friday. Sterling got their first win of the season. They beat a pretty good Inman team 21-20. Okay, other scores from around the area. Ellsworth remains unbeaten. They beat Minneapolis 26-21. Lions over Republic County 21-20. Plainville beat Russell 26-20. Sterling 21. Inman 20. TMP beats Phillipsburg 26-20. 1A is going to be tough. Central Plains 56. La Crosse nothing. Maxville beat Ness City 34-14. Kinsley in 3 overtimes beat St. John 64-58. Victoria 22, Osborne 14, and Hodgman beat Spearville 22-8. Otis Bison to 2-1. They beat Pawnee Heights 40-19, and Chase gets on the field but falls to Western Plains 80-24. And finally, our last cut, Chris Kleiman said it was a team effort in Provo on Saturday night. You see that one coming, Corson? 38-9.
I think I shut it down fourth quarter. Crazy ending to the half. They give it up 2 times in I think about 45 seconds. I think both of them went for scores. Thought, well, you're still only down a little bit. You're going to get the ball back, and just nothing.
38-9. They'll play Oklahoma State on Saturday in Manhattan. Oklahoma State fall into Utah in Stillwater, 22-19. KU 28-17, 5:39 to play. They ended up
turnovers.
Coughing it up. So KU gets TCU. Who lost to SMU big over the weekend. Fort Hays State wins 37-0 over Northeastern State. More Panther talk coming up. You're a nice guy, Sean Bear. You carried some Hesh's equipment up there.
Not up. He's there down.
Down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, now, his wife was standing on the chairs outside, so I don't know, maybe Sean carried it or she carried it. I wasn't
I made
there.
it halfway, and I said, hey, grab this bag. I'll buy you a ice cream cone.
2 young men that
Yes.
served as
You got Brody Postlethwaite, and I don't have it written down. Baker, Cade Baker. Does that sound? They're both freshmen. Thank you for that. You helped an old man out.
allowing the broadcast to continue.
Yes, that's right. Of course, the 45-minute delay didn't help, but
Real quick, Hayes loses at the last second to Manhattan. Watch out for the Hayes team. That's a crazy schedule they've played so far. But it's always fun to see something good go kind of viral after the game. One Dax Minton just goes up to the band kids. They're out on the field playing drums. I guess he thanked them. I think it's got thousands upon thousands of views. So all he did was say, hey, man, we appreciate you guys playing, which it is awesome. We had him in here playing the Crazy Fight song.
Hey,
And they did it like twice
Yeah.
a night, so it's fun when they get going.
It's a fun environment. It's
It
a
is.
fun environment.
Friday
Dodge
Night
City
Lights.
beat Wichita South 42-8. Thank you, Hesh, because I didn't run down the WAC scores. Garden City beat Wichita Heights 14-13, and Liberal over Guyman, Oklahoma, 56-zip.
Did you see the South Gray score?
Was that 82-76?
82-80. 5 overtimes. You want to talk about a horse race?
That's where when if you get paid by the game,
it's not worth it.
you got to get out of there. Pull
I wonder if there's a lot of long runs in that. I'm just thinking.
You would think so.
Them poor refs.
Just for
probably would
timing, because if that's a long, sustained drive, there's no way you can do that.
Curfew,
Yeah.
hit by the time that game was over with. Yeah, a little bit of scoring going on out there. Okay, Hesh and Sean Bear up next here on Sports Day. It's all brought to you by the American Plains Co-op Bulk Fuel Department. Hesh, they feature number 2 clear diesel, bulk fuel, E10, fuel delivery, and all your lubricants and fuel supplies. And the Grape Inn Recreation Commission, dedicated to improving our community and the lives of its individuals. It's
Amen.
Sports Day on KVGB.
Introducing Ag Mechanics at Barton Community College in partnership with Case New Holland Top Tech. Hands-on training in areas like electrical, hydraulics, and diesel engines, with technicians gaining the knowledge and skills needed to start a career with CNH Level 1 training. Join this high-demand field at a CNH dealership in only 9 months. Learn more at toptech.bartoncccc.edu.
Marmy Auto Group makes it happen. Central and Western Kansas. Check out our selection of new and pre-owned inventory. Marmy's friendly staff offers top quality service that you've gotten to know over the years. When your existing vehicle needs parts or service, our experienced team will get you back in the game this season. Marmy Chevrolet, GMC, Ford and Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep Ram, parts, service, and body shop. Visit Marmy Auto Group on 10th Street or marmys.net. Marmys, make it happen.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powson, president of your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
For the past 13 years, Sports Day has been the show devoted to local sports and local athletes. And it's all brought to you by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Welcome back into Sports Day on a Monday. Mike Hesher now joined by Sean Bear. First, we'll tell you that Sports Day is brought to you by Keller Automotive Repair. They specialize in wheel alignments, oil changes, and general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks. And by the Marmy Auto Group on 10th Street in Great Bend. Okay, Sean Bear. Busy game on Friday night. Have the 45-minute delay that kind of slowed things down. But your initial take from the game after 48 hours.
There were no cheeseburgers in the box.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Schaub.
Yeah. Schaub fumbled.
Yes,
Schaub fumbled on that.
And you know the bad part was everybody in the press box knew it but us.
I know. I was there early.
Expecting food.
It was one of those games where you feel like the Panthers came to know a little bit more about themselves. They weren't having success running the football for whatever reason, mostly because Bueller had the box severely stacked with defensive players, and they were up on the outsides, man-to-man coverage, and all of a sudden, Coach said, hey, we've got one of the top receivers, tight ends in the nation, recruitable right now. Let's just go ahead and throw him out there and see what can happen. And I think you probably say that, and Dax Minton, all 5'9.5", will push 5'10", became 6'2", shoulders back, and said, watch this, because we're going to throw it all over the field.
And, we talked about all the touchdowns that they had, but the most impressive play for me was that interception in the end zone by Mr. Premer. We think he tapped it to himself.
Yeah, to visualize it, if you were ever a Bulls fan, imagine Dennis Rodman going up for a rebound over Charles Barkley, tipping it 3 times because he just couldn't actually rebound it. Finally tipped it to himself to where he could control it, and that's kind of what Premer did. He was in chase mode. He reached out, just got a fingertip on it, tapped it up, and then was able to reel it in and complete the play, and just one of the better plays I've seen in a long time in high school football.
Talking to Mike Corson this morning about that play, I guess the Bueller side was upset because they thought it was a penalty, but Corson was right down there. He said, I don't think Premer ever touched him. He just was body control, able to tap it to himself.
Well, and if that's just it, if Premer tapped it before
he hit him,
then it's a tip ball. We'll have to get a hold of Wetzel and confirm the ruling on that, where I do apologize. Wetzel had to get a hold of me.
We made a couple mistakes, didn't we?
Yeah. It's not an automatic first down on pass interference in high school ball, and spot fouls, holding is not a spot foul. So we'll get that right next time.
Well, you know what? We'll be like the big boys, and we can have him in the booth as well. And when there's an officials, we can have, hey, Randy, what's the official ruling here?
Just like, let's go to Nick Sadator.
Exactly.
We'll just go. We're going to get Randy Wetzel on the horn and get an officiating clarification.
That would be
That'd be pretty good. I like that.
Yes. Okay. So I still think the biggest play of the game was Jacobs Hall pick 6. I mean, Great Bend has struggled. They were down at the time. Bueller was up 14-13 at the time, and they were driving, and then Jacob Hall came up with that pick 6, and Aaron Beck said in the postgame show that kind of picked the team up.
Well, it is, and we talked about momentum. They had to figure out something to reach over that line of scrimmage, grab the momentum back, because it had definitely shifted to Bueller. They had to figure out something to get the momentum back, and I'm telling you what, Jacob Hall's got a nose for that football, especially back there in the secondary when we realized that they were going to try to chuck it around a little bit. He rolled back into there, and I think he's baiting those quarterbacks into having guys look open. because he's just stepping right in front of stuff.
He also came up with a fumble recovery.
Nose for the football.
Nose for the football. As
Good
you
defenders
said.
are that way.
Okay. So there was 4 lead changes in the game, and you talked about defensive adjustments. Klaus had 79, 80 yards in the first half. They held him to 24 in the second half, 104 for the game. Second straight game, they've done a pretty good job on a tailback. What were adjustments that Great Bend made?
All of a sudden, your perimeter guys started tackling. They realized that, hey, this is all fine and dandy. We can drop back into coverage, but at some point in time, especially when they started pulling the option at us, your cornerbacks, also they got to get mean, and they got to come up and they got to fill voids and fly around to the football. And so our perimeter players started having their nose in there. You know, it leaves us a little bit susceptible to play action. But if you haven't seen it on film, hey, gamble a little bit. And I think one time, or maybe the first time they ran option in the second half, we had so many guys in the face of the quarterback and the pitch covered that we forced a fumble.
Yep.
And that's what you want to do. You want to make that thing happen so fast that it takes them out of rhythm. And the defense did exactly that.
One thing's been overlooked a little bit is the kickoffs by Omar Razzo. Razzo. I always mess that one up. But he's been putting the ball into the end zone, which means they start at 20. That doesn't give them a chance for a kickoff return.
Well, and see, he'd be an excellent NFL kicker because as long as you can put that in the end zone, you don't have to worry about this new fandangled thing. And I think yesterday the stat was 75% touchbacks. Great Bend was right there with him.
Well, the thing about it is, thinking most of them were going to the north, though. He had a south wind. Did that have anything to do with it, maybe?
Well, you know, he's got a strong leg.
Okay.
And I'll be honest with you. I think when he tries to finesse it, that's when he has a little trouble with accuracy on his PATs. When he gets up there and he just kicks that thing and booms it, I don't think there's much room for error, and he just pounds the thing. So he needs to make those extra points feel like he's going to try to kick it 70 yards.
Well, do we need to talk about Dax and Premer anymore? Or have we discussed all that? So
those two guys are one heck of a combination. I think what's going to happen, the more that you see that and the more that we call that combination, all of a sudden you're going to have Daxton to Hall. You're going to have Daxton to Omach. I mean, you start to be able to spread the ball around. And when you call that name, all of a sudden we're going to have a running game back there that we're going to start seeing a prominent running game. And you're going to need it later in the WAC. Absolutely.
And you talked about the flexibility. You know, you probably see Omach throwing some passes out there as well because we know he can throw the football.
Well, a little bit of razzle-dazzle, and we talked about having a team full of athletes that you can move and interchange anywhere. You get Aiden Davis getting a carry the other night. Hats off to that kid. You know, I've seen him do it all. He makes tackles. He throws great blocks. He runs the football here and there, you know. So that one's going to definitely be on his highlight reel, and he's going to be one of those grandpas 70 years down the line. He's going to be telling his grandkids about the time he ran for 60 yards on one play.
One play.
One play. I ran for 60 yards.
Touchdown
60 yards. It was a touchdown into the wind.
That's right.
Uphill.
In the snow.
In the snow, exactly.
All right, coming up, Wichita North. We know Wichita North isn't very good. It's kind of one of those weeks where maybe Great Bend can, I think Aaron Beck said this in the postgame show, they can focus on themselves and maybe correct some of those mistakes.
Well, it's a great chance to polish some things. You don't want to take it off by any stretch of the imagination. You know, any given Sunday, any given Friday, you don't want to take it off. But you got to, and there's definitely room to polish. But you can work on that running game. All of a sudden, it's somebody that's only going to have scouted you on film. Their personnel, I think Wichita North is known for basketball more in that tune, so they're not a great football school. But you can definitely take care of in-house things and make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
All right, Sean Bear, that wraps up our segment for today. We'll talk to you on Friday.
I'll be there.
All righty. That is Sean Bear. He is the color analyst for Great Bend High School Sports, and we'll be right back with more of Sports Day after this. Sports Day is brought to you by the Great Bend Recreation Commission, dedicated to improving our community and the lives of its individuals. Sports Day continues after this.
From the Mayo Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB Great Bend and 95.5 FM K238CK Hoisington.
When it comes to car maintenance, it's good to know a local guy that can get things done. The Eller family has been in the auto repair business in Great Bend forever. Greg Eller continues that long tradition of helping people. Eller Automotive Repair specializes in wheel alignments, oil changes, and general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4 Fridays. Eller Automotive Repair at 915 Morton, right behind Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source, 10th and Morton.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Ryan, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
If you're needing a healthcare plan for your business, let the experienced and dedicated staff at Freedom Claims Management Incorporated customize a health insurance plan that fits your business's need. Regardless if you're a large corporation or a small business on Main Street, Freedom Claims Management Incorporated can help you provide your employees with great health coverage at an affordable cost. Visit freedomclaimsinc.com where you can schedule a free, no obligation health assessment today. Freedom Claims Management Incorporated in Great Bend.
He's passionate about his high school sports and his trendy sports apparel. Sports Day presents the Great Bend Tribune's Jim Masunas.
Jimbo in on a Monday, brought to you in part by the Marmy Auto Group on 10th Street in Great Bend. Equity Bank, adding value for their customers and communities. Equity Bank in Great Bend, Hoyston, Larned. See their locations tab at equitybank.com for more information. And Freedom Claims Management, innovative healthcare plans for your business. Let them take care of everything for you from start to finish and continued support. They have you covered. Jim Masunas in here on a Monday. We've kind of broke down Great Bend quite a bit. Your impressions, though. 3-0, sitting high and pretty in 5A right now.
Yeah, they're sitting really good in 5A. You like to be a top 4 seed and maybe 1-2 because in 5A, 6A, 4A, if you're the highest seed, you keep getting home games. So Great Bend has certainly played themselves in position to, at the very least, have certainly a top 4 seed at this point, and we'll see. They could go as high as 1.
Tony Crow and Hayes High don't appear to be wanting to go anywhere. They've got another tough opponent coming up this week, and then I think they've got Junction City the week after that. So
yeah, Hayes will be very tested. I was really impressed by their score against Manhattan, which is a quality 6A team, and played them tough, played them to the buzzer. So Hayes' competition has been very good and will continue to be that way because Junction's got a good program, and they've already played some quality teams. So, yeah, Hayes will be really probably the big whack game of the year, but I've been impressed by Liberal's scores. I don't know the quality competition, but their scores have been impressive so far.
So Great Bend, I believe, gets them in 2 weeks. Is that?
Yeah, that's
okay.
right.
What's other Friday takeaways that you had, Jim?
Well, again, Ellenwood's off to a great start again. Landon Simpson gives them a quality at speed and talent at quarterback. He accounted for 5 touchdowns, and Ellenwood hadn't been scored on. I'm sure you'd have to dust off the record books to see when that's happened. 3 straight shutouts to start the season. And then Central Plains got back on board. Joel Schreiber accounted for 3 touchdowns and 56-0 over La Crosse. And Otis Bison, Jake Hoopengardner. Otis Bison's got a good quality 6-man team. They've got a heck of a receiver in Kelson Juneau, and Jake Hoopengardner's a really good athlete. So I expect Otis Bison to continue to thrive in 6-man this year. 40-19 over Pawnee Heights. I was really impressed by Otis Bison. They've got some quality athletes.
Triple overtime in St. John on Friday night.
Yeah, it's ironic that Kinsley went down the last play of the game last week against Maxville, and basically 3 overtimes. It could have been decided 5 or 6 different times as far as the end of the game, and 3 overtimes, and Kinsley found a way to get it done. But St. John, very resurgent program this year. Braxton Alpers accounted for 6 touchdowns, 4 rushing and 2 passing, and exciting times for St. John. It was a game that actually, I think it started on time at 7, but it was well after 10, and then, of course, some of the games were delayed an hour or so, and St. John and Kinsley were still playing, so they certainly got their money's worth down at St. John Friday night.
Okay, so we were talking about Wichita North. That's got to be tough for those kids. I mean, golly, the North has just not been good for so long.
Yeah, it's tough when you have that. You have really quality programs in Wichita East and Capon and Wichita Northwest and Carroll usually is a traditional power. They had a subpar year last year, but yeah, it's tough. Great Bend went through that for 2+ years. They didn't win a game for better than 2 years, and so they've.
But they were at least competitive. That's the thing.
Yeah, they were pretty. They were very competitive. I mean, they were in a lot of those ball games. But yeah, to lose by an average score of 65-2 is pretty tough.
Yes. Volleyball. What's going on in the area with our area volleyball teams?
Well, a couple teams won titles. Hoisington swept 5 matches at Russell and won that tournament. They're 16-2, and they're state ranked in 3A. And Maxwell won for the 3rd straight year at Pawnee Heights. So 2 volleyball champions on the weekend, and then Great Bend will have their big tournament coming up this week.
Okay. Cross country wise, any other sports going on right now?
Yeah, the Great
that
Bend.
you have information on. I know there's other sports.
Well, the most impressive thing was what Owen Schmidt did for Pratt. I'd never heard of a player scoring 4 defensive touchdowns and scoring 6 touchdowns in a game. What a tremendous game for Owen Schmidt. And Larned, it just shows you the value of a quarterback. Hoisington's felt the loss of Jason Robinson. Larned's quarterback, Carson Shaver, didn't play, and they lost 70-0. It just affects so many things when you have a quality, experienced quarterback who also may play on the defensive side. It's very, very tough when that happens, but we'll see. I mean, I haven't heard what Shaver's week to week or whatever, but I know Jason Robinson will be back at some point, but hopefully Carson's deal is short term and he can come back.
Yeah, I think he's done for the year. So
was it a knee thing?
It
or?
was something with his arm. So
that's
or
tough.
his hand, wrist.
And Carson's a terrific multi-sport athlete too.
Yeah.
So that really, because Larned had very high hopes this year, and that really you have to take a big step back because you're putting an inexperienced varsity kid in there, and it's very tough, very tough.
Okay, want to get your thoughts on Keisha announcing last week, not this year, but starting the following year, they'll go to, you can play 23 regular season games instead of just 20.
Yeah, it seems like the direction. Keisha's made so many improvements in the past few years, really very positive changes, adding baseball games, softball games, and now basketball. And, they've refined and defined, got golf to 36 holes. So it's all good for the athletes and the competitors. The Great Bend girls said this last year. Would you rather go to practice or play a game or a match? Yeah. They had a quick answer for that. They'd much rather be competing. So, yeah, it's a good thing. I mean, 3 extra games will increase the need for officials because guess what? You just increase your amount of games by 5% or whatever percent that is. So,
and I've heard some concern. Where are they going to fit them at? Well, you just remember a lot of schedules that there's a hole here and there. You've got to add 3, and I don't know if it's something you've got to add. I imagine it'd probably be an option for the schools, but it was always weird because you'd come down basically to 14 regular season games, right? Because most teams will play in a tournament, play 3 games.
Play 6 in a tournament.
And go up there and then go on Christmas break, and that's 4 games, and then you're on Christmas break. So
it'd be interesting to see because teams have played as many as 6 games or so before Christmas. It'd be interesting to see whether that's part of what they do.
I would think that would be because it was always like, I think Garden City last year had like 7 before the Christmas break, and then you only had 13 afterwards.
So I would imagine that some of the teams will do it before Christmas, and I would guess that some of the games might be on Saturday. Liberals always played some games on Saturday, and Garden too. And that's part of it is that they're just so far away from folks. It's easier to play. Like Garden had tournaments on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Well, it made it easy for the teams traveling because they could just spend a couple days in Garden City.
Okay, what happened to K-State Saturday?
Well, 3 turnovers, 3 touchdowns, and about 6 plays, and boy, it can disappear in a hurry. Their philosophy was very cautious and more or less like, let's not make any mistakes. Let's play really, really safe and secure and not throw the ball downfield. Don't throw the ball over the middle. Let's just settle for a really low-scoring game. Well, it worked. It was 6-3. And then it sort of exploded on them. 3 turnovers, 3 touchdowns, and the game got away from them. But, yeah, they need to be way more aggressive with Avery Johnson. Just go out and let him play. I mean, he had 3 turnovers by trying to not let him play. So you got to let him play and get him out on the run. The one thing I've noticed with the receivers is they're all tiny. They're not very big. They're not very physical. So that could be part of the issue is they're just having a hard time getting open and getting off the line of scrimmage and away from the defense. And they haven't, to my knowledge, hardly thrown to their tight ends. And I know they've got some quality tight ends. So they'll get the ship short up. But, it really comes down to this week. And it just shows you how tough it is on the road in the Big 12. It can be really, really tough. BYU is a very impressive defense. So
yeah, they're 4-0 right now. KU has 13-point lead. Boy, season spiraling, but they can still get back on track. But as far as the hopes they had going in, not looking good right now.
No, if their games had ended in the middle of the fourth quarter, they're 4-0. Unfortunately, they led 3 times and lost 3 games in the last 5 minutes of each of those games, and that's very tough. I didn't give Kansas – I was one who didn't give Kansas much of a chance. When you play 12 road games, that's tough.
I don't think people talked about that a lot.
Every game's a road. The biggest game in Kansas football history, literally, was a game where they played in Arrowhead. They could have played for the National Football Championship. That game was moved to Arrowhead. They lost the game to Missouri. Missouri ended up losing the championship game to Oklahoma. And neither team played. Either team could have played for the national championship that year, and neither of them did. It's really the biggest mistake in Kansas school history was moving that game to Arrowhead, because I honestly believe they would have beaten Missouri in Lawrence. They had a terrific team that year and a terrific quarterback. But it's really tough playing all those road games.
Pretty neat ceremony out at Barton Saturday, and now we got to put up with Cole Reif coming in tomorrow on the show wearing his national championship ring. That was cool. They gave one to the play-by-play guy.
That was cool.
That's all right.
Yeah, Cole does just a quality job. You don't see, even at the lower levels, you don't see many folks doing it by themselves and flying solo. So I know Cole does a terrific job providing color and play-by-play, which is hard to do. But, it's fun to see that. And one of the Cougars is committed to Wichita State already. Very good quality point guard who is committed to Wichita State.
All right, Jimbo, appreciate you. We'll talk to you next Monday. Jim Mizunas, Great Bend Tribune, with us. On the prowl, Mike Corson up next here on Sports Day. And it's brought to you by, well, who do we want to give credit to? We've got a whole bunch of folks here. Yeah, Great Bend Rec, American Plains, Bulk Fuel Department. Yeah, everybody helping to bring you Sports Day here on a Monday. Animal Medical Center, big or small, they take care of them all. Barton Cougar Booster Club continuing their efforts to make the Barton Athletic Department the best in the country. And Eller Automotive Repair, where they specialize in wheel alignments, oil changes, and general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks.
Discover textbook freedom with Barton Community College's new low-cost degree pathway. With Pathway certified online courses, you get the Barton guaranteed option that your textbooks and course materials will cost $50 or less per class. Whether you want to earn your associate degree or transfer credits to a 4-year university, Barton offers flexible online courses and personalized support. Achieving your goals is now easier and more affordable. Learn more at textbookfreedom.bartonccc.edu.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powelson, president of Your Local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
As a farmer, I have thousands of more mouths to feed than the average person. What fuels me to get the job done? The smell of the soil and the hum of the combine. What fuels my equipment? Cenex Ruby Fieldmaster, a premium diesel fuel for the most challenging conditions. Better than any formula yet, delivering maximum uptime every time. Cenex Ruby Fieldmaster, fueled by innovation, powered to perform.
Contact American Plains Co-op Fuel Department in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor.
Sports Day presents On the Prowl with Mike Corson, an inside look at all the sports taking place at Great Bend High School.
Welcome back to Sports Day, 1590 KBGB, 95.5 FM. Don't know what's happening there, but you're listening to Sports Day. That Mike Corson today, joined by Panther Cross Country Coach Lyles Lashley. Well, you're in good spirits today.
I mean, I did win American Idol, so I was trying to just showcase my voice for you guys.
Before we talk about some cross-country success, I did some research. I got 2003, the Ellenwood Eagle defense shut out 2 of its first 3 opponents. Monty Dole and Bill Maddie were coaches of that team. Jeff Lutz, Panther defense, no points allowed in 3 games. The New Orleans Saints can't play a prevent defense and stop a 60-yard play late in the game?
Oh, they're in that little crowd. You had to watch the play. They were in that little route, a little crossing route, and the 2 idiots ran into each other, took each other 3rd and 16. We get a 60-yard pass to the tight end. Yeah, very happy. Good thing I have that little Saints brick at my house so I can throw it at my TV.
Yeah, I'm all in on the Saints this year. They got Derek Carr. Everybody kicks him around, and he's finally got a home. He's running up some scores, and then they do that.
Well, it is the Saints. This is the Saints we thought we would see this year.
Well, and it's the same thing with the Royals. That they're finally playing like we expected.
Yeah, how many are they? Wild card? What's the deal there? I hadn't seen it in a couple of days.
I believe they are now 1/2 game out of the wild card.
They're 1/2 game, 1.5 out with what, 6 to go?
Half a game out. So yeah, we'll be an interesting finish for sure.
Who do they play? The Red Sox or who this week?
I believe I don't know.
I was thinking it was the Red Sox and somebody else.
There's Braves in there somewhere.
Yeah, the Braves. Okay. You're right. The Braves and the Red Sox, I believe it is.
Won't matter if they can't score any runs.
No.
Some better news coming out of Bueller on Thursday. I always like it. You have your big meet, and of course the girls won, so we knew somewhat how good they were going to be. And then you go up to just the massive Olathe meet, but coming back to one of the smaller meets, and then almost a perfect race for the girls.
Yeah, I thought the whole theme of the week was just competing. We went to see how they compete. It's tough to come back and run the twilight meet on a Saturday, and then come back and have a meet on Thursday. But the whole thing, I wouldn't worry about times. That course is always long, always slow, always dreadful to the girls and guys. And I wanted to see how they would compete. And I thought a lot of them ran really well the second half of the race. Sienna went out and took over the race from the get-go. Reese was probably in 10th, 11th place the first mile and just slowly picked her way through the field. Was in second and had just got a little bit out-kicked, but then, to finish third at a cross-country meet in her third ever race, I thought pretty impressive. The rest of it was solid, and then the other two, Taya and Bella also were solid too. Those two were running JV at this time last year, so to finish in the top 8, both of them, when they were in the JV last year, I thought that was impressive. Shows the hard work these two have put in.
And I used to watch you when you were with Ellenwood. Maybe it was always at the St. John meet, especially. Sometimes you just kind of flex it up and pack the girls up. Any strategy like that, or just happened to work out that way?
Well, we were gonna just pack. Last year we ran as a pack the whole way. This year we were, but then we found out the Salina Central girls were not going to run this week, so we're like, this is, Sienna or whoever's chance to win a meet individually, Marissa or whoever. So we let them kind of just get after it and however they wanted to do it, and they just kind of happened to, stay in a pretty decent pack.
So, yeah, Reese Bullard, her third ever meet, she runs third just by 1/10 of a second. So that sounds like a track race. Is it just kind of fun to see her get tested like that?
Yeah, it was. It was just to see her compete, and she's just now finding herself in a cross-country race, and I think, each week she's just going to get better and better.
Talking to Panther cross-country coach Lyles Lashley. Boys' side, we've seen Ismael Ramirez do well for you guys, but we've also seen Taven Stroop. So always kind of mixed results on the boys' side.
Yeah, we're not competing. We were a little down this week with my son being out with pneumonia, and then just missing a few. So I thought most sport that competed well. Izzy competed well. He went out, and there were some pretty good guys in that guys race with the kids from McPherson and the Southeast Sling kid too. So it was a good race for him.
Yeah, you've seen it on the girls' side. That was the 4-time defending 3A champions. You guys have now beat twice. The boys' race, you had the 4A state champion, and he got beat by 23 seconds by Southeast of Saline. So some great races you guys have seen, some racers you guys have seen early on.
Yeah, I think our schedule I put our schedule pretty much against anybody in the state. I mean, just a really good quality schedule. I think, that meet and the WAC meet are our 2 smallest meets of the year. So definitely the schedule helps them out, though. It's when we get to the region meet that they don't get too intimidated by that, because it's kind of more of our small meets of the year.
Really hot last Thursday. I think temperatures are supposed to be down for about the next 8 to 10 days. Where are you headed? And the kids kind of look forward to that change every year?
Yeah, they do. Obviously, it's a great time when you get the fall. I mean, I think everybody loves the fall weather. But we're going to Rimrock this week and going to race against the big girls, and the boys are going to be in the Crimson division, but the girls will compete against, probably 7 or 8 different states. I know a team from Texas is coming in. I think, obviously, Oklahoma always has teams. Arkansas's really good teams will be there. Nebraska always has a team out of Colorado who beat us last year by a few points. Will be there. They were, I think, the Colorado State champs in 3 or 4A there. So it'll be a good test to see where we're at on a real course. I mean, some of these courses we go to are pretty flat and basically like a track meet. But this is, nice to go compete and see the hard work the girls and boys have put in on the hills and that stuff too.
Cross-country coach Lyles Lashley, thanks for joining us. Yeah, always fun, especially for some of the new kids to get to see Rimrock for the first time as runners. So good luck to you guys this weekend.
It is. Those kids love to go there, and it's terrible for me because I'm too fat to run around the course anymore, but the kids love it.
No, I saw a video a couple of years ago. You almost rolled down the one hill, but you kept your feet.
That's Coach Dole. That's not me.
Thanks for joining us. Good luck.
Thanks, Mike.
More Sports Day after this.
Sports, leisure, fitness and wellness, even senior and adaptive needs. It's all here at Great Bend Rec. Pick up a program guide or stop by the rec office at 1214 Stone in Great Bend. Or check out the website, greatbendrec.com. Live, play, explore at the rec.
It's all here at Great Bend Rec. Live, play, explore at the rec.
Dr. Nels here, Animal Medical Center, and today I wanted to visit with you about the power of a multi-doctor practice. And the power of a multi-doctor practice is we can serve many different people, many different personalities. The power of a multi-doctor practice is we have a lot of horsepower here, a lot of people. We can get a lot done. We can say yes, we can get you taken care of. The other cool thing about a multi-doctor practice is we're all different personalities, we're all different makes and models. Dr. Nels here, Animal Medical Center, large or small, we take care of them all.
Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. It's all brought to you exclusively by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Welcome back, Sports Day here on a Monday. Well, as expected, K-State took a tumble in the polls, but they're still in the top 25 in both the AP and the coaches poll. K-State falls from 13th to 23rd in the rankings after they lost to BYU Saturday, and now they get Oklahoma State, who also dropped in the polls. Oklahoma State drops to number 20 after their loss to Utah, who is now ranked 10th. So the highest-ranked team in the Big 12 right now is Utah, ranked number 10. K-State fell to 25th in the coaches poll. Barton volleyball, they took care of business over the weekend as they beat Dodge City in straight sets. So Barton now in a first-place tie in the Jayhawk standings. They're 4-0, 17-1 on the year. And tonight, they're out at Colby to take on the 6th-ranked Trojans. So a big girl match. We'll talk about it with Megan Bessaker on the show tomorrow. And Barton soccer, the Barton women pick up a 2-1 victory over Garden City on Saturday. So Barton now 2-3-2 in league play. They're 4-3-2 overall, and Garden City remains winless. Barton will complete their first path through the Jayhawk Conference on Wednesday. They'll host Seward County in a 3 o'clock kickoff out at Cougar Field. 14th-ranked Barton men, they ended their 2-game slide, and they beat Garden City on Saturday by the score of 2-0. So the Barton men now 2-3 in the Jayhawks, 6-3 overall, and they also will play Seward County on Wednesday, and then both the men and women are home against Dodge City coming up on Saturday. Let's see, tomorrow, Cole Reif will be in. Think he'll wear his ring in studio?
I would hope so.
I would. That's pretty cool.
I wore mine for about a year, and then they've gone away.
Well, when Fort Hays won their national championship in 1996, I didn't get a ring.
I got 2.
Oh,
84, 85. I worked my tail off, though. I put in a lot of hours for that ball club.
I didn't say anything.
Your look. It was facial gestures.
So anyway, that's coming up tomorrow on the show. We'll talk to you then right here on Sports